The DeFi sector is hot right now. Everyone is diving into this relatively unexplored sea of immense opportunity. Lending, margin trading, flash loans, swaps, the whole shebang. In fact, given the relative gold rush in the sector, you may have been wondering if there were still opportunities for you to jump on. Opportunities to bank some juicy DeFi dollars. Well, there is, and it's called Aave. I'm Guy, your crypto guru, and in this video I will give you exactly what you need to know about Aave. I'll also take you through this lending platform step by step and show you some of its coolest features. Oh yes, and I also have a few personal tips that you can use when trying to maximize gains here. So be sure to stick around for those. Now, before I get going, a few things I need to get off my chest. Firstly, as always, I am no financial advisor. I am a YouTuber who only presents information for your educational benefit. Always DYOR. Also, if you're new to the Coin Bureau, welcome, welcome. On this channel, I regularly cover coins, platforms, guides, and other juicy crypto tips. If that sounds like something that you could get value from, then feel free to flick that subscribe button. You may also want to turn on notifications so you can get alerted the moment I release another video. Okay, enough wish-wash. Onwards with Aave. So, what the hell is Aave? Well, it's an open source DeFi lending protocol that allows users to earn interest on deposits and borrow a whole host of different cryptocurrencies. It was built on the Ethereum blockchain and is hence completely decentralized. This makes it quite different from the other centralized lending platforms such as Celsius, BlockFi, Nexo, etc., as it's not controlled by any one entity. Lending is controlled on the blockchain through the use of smart contracts. Aave was actually one of the first Ethereum-based lending platforms on the market when it launched as Ethlend back in 2017. In September of 2018, they rebranded to Aave and the project took on a whole new form, just in time for that DeFi revolution. Oh, and here's a fun fact. Did you know that Aave means ghost in Finnish? What is it with the Ethereum community and ghosts? Anyways, Aave has embraced the DeFi revolution with open arms. Not only do they offer support for as many as 17 different cryptocurrency assets, they've also expanded beyond a simple money market protocol. Today, they offer flash loans, uncollateralized loans, rate switching, and other exotic features. We'll go over all of this in a bit. Currently, when it comes to the value of all funds locked up in the platform, Aave is sitting at number 4 for all DeFi apps and at number 3 for lending dApps. What is really impressive though is the amount of growth that has come onto the platform in just the past 3 months. Although, to be fair, similar growth numbers have come to other DeFi platforms in this time period. So, that about does it with the intros. It's time to dive into the platform, starting with their creme de la creme, their lending platform. Over on the Aave homepage, you have a complete overview of their lending market. This is the value of all the lending pools currently on the Aave protocol. Below that, you'll see all of the markets for the individual crypto coins. Something that you should note is that all of these markets are over-collateralized. This basically means you have more funds supplied than have been taken out. It ensures that the system is always solvent and your lenders are not left holding the bag. Anyways, next to the coin in question, you can see the rate that you'll be able to get if you were to deposit crypto into one of the smart contracts. This is an APY rate that will fluctuate based on the demand and supply in the lending market. They do, however, show you the 30-day average over here. Then on the borrow side, you have 2 rates. One is the current variable rate that is live on the market. Because this is a variable rate, it may change later. However, over here you have your stable percentage rate. This is something unique to Aave and it's their fixed rate features. This allows users to lock in an interest rate for the remainder of the loan. Anyways, let's get our hands a bit dirty with this DeFi delight. I'm going to supply some DAI to the lending pool here and earn some interest. Now, of course, because this is an Ethereum dApp, you'll have to connect it with a Web 3.0 wallet. It supports quite a few, but for this example, I'll be using MetaMask. Once I've approved the connection, I'm taken to the main UI of the dApp. Let's take a bit of a closer look at the DAI market, shall we? Here we have all the stats on the lending pool: utilization rates, liquidity, amount borrowed, interest rates, etc. The current rates are about 6.75%, which are not the highest they have been compared to previous 30 days, but are definitely better than your local Chase Bank. Anyways, if I want to supply this DAI, all I need to do is hit deposit over here. It will bring up a screen where I can deposit my crypto. You'll see all the same stats to the right here that you saw on the main overview. Oh, and you chaps may appreciate this. Aave has actually integrated with fiat gateways over here. This basically means that you can directly purchase your DAI with your fiat right there on the platform. How neat is that? Now, given that I have DAI in my wallet already, I'm just going to send this over. I'll need to approve on my MetaMask first. Give that a few seconds to confirm, and then once done, you are ready to deposit. Confirm the deposit on your MetaMask, wait for the confirmation to work its way through the blockchain, and that's it. You are now supplying DAI to the lending pool, and you can monitor your accrued interest in the Aave dashboard. You should also note that when you're supplying funds to Aave, you will receive their A tokens. These are similar to C tokens that I talked about in my compound finance video. The only difference here is that these are pegged to the value of the underlying token, and your balance will increase as you earn that interest. You can, of course, withdraw the liquidity whenever you want, and when that is done, your A DAI tokens will be converted back into the DAI tokens. This deposit does not only earn interest, but it also serves as collateral should I want to borrow any crypto. Doing so is also pretty simple, apart from a few specific quirks that you need to know about. Firstly, when taking out the loan, you will have two options. You can either lend the crypto via a variable rate or via what they call their stable rate. So what is that? Well, it basically acts like a fixed rate in the short to medium term. However, it is not guaranteed in the same way that you have a fixed rate loan from your bank. It can be rebalanced if there are severe changes in the market conditions, so just be aware of that. At Aave, the fixed rate is always higher than the floating to account for risk. The exact rate that you will be charged depends on the utilization ratio in the pool. As there is more demand to borrow, both of the rates will slowly increase. There is a particular turning point where the rates spike in order to account for the demand. This is currently at 90% utilization ratio. This is just a rough overview. If you want a bit more information, then you can always take a look through the model in their white paper, if you fancy some light reading before bed. The other thing to note about lending here is that you will have to ensure that your position is always above the liquidation threshold. This is because should you drop below 80%, as is the example here with the DAI, then you will have to fork over a liquidation penalty, which is 5%. Not worth losing that for nothing, folks. Anyways, that is the basic functionality of Aave. Already a pretty impressive piece of kit. But this is not just a simple lending tool. Oh no, my friends, this is a veritable Swiss Army knife for the DeFi space. Flash loans. Some love them, others hate them. But these nascent inventions of the DeFi space cannot be ignored. Aave is another one of those platforms that provide the functionality to use them. Now, a quick recap on flash loans. These are uncollateralized loans that can be taken out in an instant. Just as long as they are repaid within the same transaction, they are approved. If they are not repaid, then the whole transaction is void and no funds would ever have been originated. So at a base level, you can take out a loan for as much crypto as you like, just as long as you pay that back within the same transaction, plus a 0.09% fee, you're golden. Okay, I know what you're thinking. Guy, what on earth is the point of all this? Well, quite a lot actually. Firstly, taking out flash loans could allow you to quickly arbitrage any token mispricings on decentralized exchanges. For example, if the Guy token over on Uniswap is trading at $100, but it's trading at $102 over on DYDX, then there is an opportunity to bag an instant profit here. I could take out a massive flash loan, instantly buy Guy coin on Uniswap, sell it on DYDX, and then repay the loan at Aave, all in one transaction. Of course, there will be fees, etc., but as long as the profit is above the fees, it's worth a spin. Then, another use of these flash loans is to refinance lending. For example, you could be paying a rate of 10% on compound finance, but you have a better rate at DYDX, let's say 5%. You can then refinance this loan down to 5% without any collateral. All you'll have to do is borrow a flash loan on Aave, pay down the compound debt, borrow on the DYDX, and repay on Aave, all in one go. Flash loans have also been used with great effect in the ever-popular practice of yield farming. Farmers would use them to move collateral from one protocol to another in order to earn additional liquidity tokens and benefits. I covered this in more depth in my video on yield farming if you wanted a bit more info. Anyways, Aave was one of the first few DeFi protocols to implement flash loans, and they have already been integrated into a number of other projects. If you want to start using flash loan functionality on Aave, then I've linked to the docs in the description below. I should of course point out that flash loans do require an understanding of smart contract programming. So, if you want to max those DeFi gains, you may want to brush up on your solidity. Moving on then, one more thing that I want to touch on is the introduction of additional lending markets on Aave, more specifically the Uniswap market. For those that don't know, Uniswap is one of the most popular decentralized crypto exchanges on the market. I've actually covered it in depth in my Uniswap video that you can watch right here. At Uniswap, not only can you swap your tokens, but you can also supply tokens and operate what is called a liquidity pool. Anyways, by providing liquidity, you can earn fees, although you are not guaranteed any sort of return like those that you'll be earning in a lending protocol. That is why projects started issuing what are called liquidity pool or LP tokens. These are basically tokens that are issued by the projects as an incentive to provide that liquidity. Now, what's pretty neat about this is that Aave is one of the first protocols that I've seen that have opened up a lending market for these exotic tokens. You will eventually be able to lend or borrow these tokens. You no longer have to rely on their price appreciation in order to make some gains on LP tokens. It's actually pretty mind-blowing if you ask me. Now, this is a relatively new addition, which means that there is no one supplying these tokens currently. But one hopes that as LP tokens start gaining traction, more and more users will start to supply them over on this market. Oh, and you will also have noticed that Aave is about to introduce a set protocol market. This is a whole other kettle of fish, but it will also allow for a lending market to open up for those unique set tokens. These are basically bespoke asset management tokens issued over on token sets. I won't go into it here as that is definitely a topic for another video. Anyways, so I've been talking about Aave for a considerable period of time, but I haven't even touched on its own unique Lend token. So, let's now take a look at that, shall we? As mentioned, Lend was sold in a crowd sale back in 2017, and it's an ERC20 token that was issued on the Ethereum blockchain. There is a total supply that's just shy of 1.3 billion, whereas 1 billion of those were sold in the crowd sale. The original purpose of the Lend token was to be a utility token, one that provided users with a number of benefits such as reduced fees, staking rewards, and improved loan-to-value ratios. However, as Ethlend rebranded to Aave, Lend tokens took on use cases that were related to governance. Holders could now use Lend in order to vote on important proposals in the ecosystem. These proposals are wide-ranging and include interest rate models, liquidation configurations, and whether Aave should consider adding new assets. In terms of the current tokenomics behind the Lend token, 80% of the trading fees generated on Aave are used to purchase Lend tokens and burn them. This therefore means that the supply of Lend is decreasing daily the more fees that are generated. This naturally creates more value for those that hodl the Lend token. Oh, and you may be wondering what happens with that additional 20% in fees. No, it doesn't go to the developers. It's used in order to incentivize liquidity providers. This no doubt helps to further grow the Aave ecosystem. So let's take a bit of a closer look at the economics here. Lend tokens have value not just because of the rights they confer, voting, etc., but also because of their limitations in supply. This supply is constantly decreasing with the growth of the ecosystem. Aave is also spending 20% of their fees in order to grow the ecosystem and generate more fees. More fees, more burn, more incentives. It's no wonder then why the Lend token has been one of the best performing on the market recently. Just try to wrap your head around this. Since January of this year, Lend is up over 16 times. This DeFi crazy feels just like 2017. However, I would counter that this is something different. Unlike overhyped ICOs with nothing but a white paper, Aave has built one of the most popular lending platforms on the market. Moreover, Aave is looking to expand the use cases for the Lend token and eventually migrate it to a completely new Aave, AAVE token. This token will include use cases like staking, liquidity provider rewards, and a new smart contract. I've linked to the roadmap of the new Tokenomics proposals below should you want a bit of a deeper read. Oh, and here is a fun fact. In order to accelerate the growth of the Aave protocol and the Tokenomics, the team has taken on some funding from some venture capital firms. These were Three Arrows Capital and Framework Ventures. And instead of a traditional equity-based VC model, these blokes only wanted one thing: Lend tokens. They invested $3 million when the Lend token was 10 cents and now hold over $7 million worth of Lend tokens. So, that is no doubt a vote of confidence from those who you know are in the know. Indeed, Aave is innovating beyond just its base tokenomics. There are some pretty impressive new features that are being implemented in the main lending protocol. One of the most recent of these that I want to talk about now is uncollateralized long-term lending. This is something that has not been done at any other DeFi protocol in the past. Basically, lending for a period of time that does not require any collateral. Okay, I know what you're thinking. Guy, how on earth can this be secure or sustainable? Well, it's through a method of credit delegation. Basically, while you may not have to put up the collateral to take out the loan, someone else may have, and you can lend against said collateral. You can basically think of this as a decentralized and automated version of surety that is often used in the traditional lending space. In Aave's credit delegation system, two parties enter a fixed agreement to determine interest rates, terms, and covenants enforced by open law's blockchain-based contracts. You can see exactly how this works in the schematic by Aave. Oh, and this brings me to one of the most pressing questions of all. Why have they chosen Karen and Chad? I mean, what happened to Alice and Bob? Do the folks over at Aave think that Karen is really likely to backstop credit for Chad? We all know that Chads are not the most technically savvy guys out there. Well, turns out Karen is not as stupid as she appears. She is able to earn more return on the funds she's deposited by charging a higher interest rate. The increased rate compensates for additional credit risk, just the way banks view it. Anyways, this is still a new feature that has only just been introduced. They're currently only testing it out with some initial well-known users. But it is a taste of things to come. This video is getting long, so it's time to start wrapping it up. I do want to leave you with a few of my final thoughts though. Aave is no doubt a revolutionary lending protocol. They were one of the first projects that launched decentralized lending, and their recent growth is astounding. I use Aave regularly, and I think that it's perhaps one of the most user-friendly DeFi lending platforms in the space. It's also full of features like flash loans, liquidity token lending, and unique interest rate models. However, Aave should not be viewed in isolation. DeFi is not a single project, but a collection of different protocols, platforms, and tools. In order to make the most of the space, you should be able to use them interdependently. They should complement each other and help to optimize your lending or trading strategies. Yes, there are benefits to hodling some lend, and with the transition to Aave tokens, these use cases could explode. Let's also not forget that the liquidity mining and staking feature could open Aave up to those industrious DeFi yield farmers. However, at the end of the day, the promise of Aave is inextricably tied to that of DeFi as a whole. You have to decide as to whether DeFi really is the financial revolution we think it is. And if you come to that determination, how much of the market share will Aave be able to capture? It's also important to know about the risks that come from swimming in the DeFi waters. Smart contract bugs, hacks, black swan market moves, liquidations, these are all risks that cannot be ignored. But at the end of the day, that's the beauty of DeFi, ain't it? You have full control, but the rewards and risks are in your hands. And that's all, folks. My review and platform overview of Aave. I'm tired of talking though. I need to listen. So what do you guys think of the platform? Any other DeFi protocols you prefer? Please hit me up in the comments. And if you liked this content, then please share that love. Smash up that like button and don't forget to subscribe. My next review is being cooked up as we speak. Thanks for sticking in there. You really are a loyal subscriber. In order to show my appreciation for your support, I'm giving you a chance to sign up to my weekly newsletter. What is that, you ask? Well, it's basically one email every week that summarizes and crystallizes everything that's on my mind. Market moves, unreported news, and hidden coin views. Keen? Simple instructions. Head on over to the description where I've linked to a sign-up form. Here you can insert your email and hit submit. That's it. A sign-up email will be sent to you so you can confirm. Now you may just be in time for my next email, which includes a hidden coin tip which you don't want to miss.